Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a really surprising argument, one that comes from a lecture given over a century ago by a Dutch thinker named Abraham Kuyper. Get this. He argued that Calvinism, which you probably think of as the enemy of all things beautiful, was actually a liberating force for modern art. It sounds crazy, I know, so let's get into it. So when you think about Calvinism and art, the picture that comes to mind isn't exactly a masterpiece, is it? You probably think of iconoclasts, guys smashing statues, and churches with whitewashed walls. The whole vibe is a deep suspicion of anything too sensory or beautiful. It's the religion of stark, bare-bones simplicity, right? And this slide, it really lays out the whole conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got the accusation, Calvinism was artistically poor, it was hostile to beauty. But on the other side, you have this absolutely radical counterclaim that it actually set art free and paved the way for the art we have today. So how on earth do you square that circle? All right, so let's start with the prosecution. Let's look at the case against Calvinism. Why does it have this rock-solid reputation for being anti-art? Well, the biggest piece of evidence, Exhibit A, is this. Unlike basically every other major worldview in history, Calvinism never produced its own signature architectural style. There's no Calvinist Parthenon, there's no Geneva Cathedral that can rival St. Peter's in Rome. And for the critics, that's it. Case closed. It's just proof of artistic poverty. But this is where Kuyper flips the entire argument on its head. He says that this lack of a grand church style isn't a failure. Not at all. In fact, he argues it's a sign of something much more advanced, a more mature stage of religious development. So why are there no Calvinist cathedrals? Kuyper's answer is a real shocker, because Calvinism didn't need them. The whole point wasn't to invent a new artistic style for worship. The point was to evolve beyond needing one at all. You see, he saw religious history moving in stages. First, there's what he calls the symbolic stage. This is where religion and art are totally intertwined. Think ancient temples, think medieval cathedrals. Faith needs these big, physical, sensual symbols to express itself. But, he argued, as religion matures, it enters a spiritual stage. It becomes something internal, a matter of spirit and truth, not stone and gold. And the result of this is huge. Worship is freed from the building, and, this is key, art is freed from the job of serving worship. And hey, he wasn't just making this up. Other philosophers, like von Hartmann, had argued the same thing, that as religion grows up, it naturally sheds its artistic bandages. Because at the end of the day, art can get you close, but it can never, ever truly express the pure essence of faith. Okay, so if art's main job isn't to be in a church anymore, then what is its purpose? What did the Calvinists think art was actually for? And this is the big twist in the story. You'd think John Calvin would hate art, right? But he actually called the arts excellent gifts of the Holy Spirit and divine inventions. You see, he didn't hate art at all. He just believed it belonged out in the world, in all of life, not locked away inside a church. Now, this whole way of thinking comes from a really central Calvinist idea called common grace. The belief is that God just showers down gifts, like creativity, skill, and an eye for beauty, on everyone, not just believers. So artistic genius isn't some special sign of salvation. It's a gift to all of humanity. So what this means is that art has its own high and noble calling. It's supposed to be a comfort to us in this broken world, a way to glorify God in every single part of life, not just on Sunday morning. It's a tool for reminding us of a higher reality, a lost beauty, and for pointing us toward a future one. And look, this wasn't just some dusty theological debate. This shift in thinking had explosive, real-world consequences for art. It completely changed who art was for and what it was about. This is it, right here. This is the moment. Art was finally set free. It didn't have to answer to a pope or a prince anymore. Its new patron was the people, and its subject was the whole wide world. And you can really see the difference this made. Before, art was all about saints and popes and idealized heavenly scenes. But in places like the Calvinist Netherlands, a whole new art buyer showed up. The successful middle-class merchant. And what did they want to hang on their walls? Not some distant saint. They wanted to see their own world, portraits of their families, scenes from their workshops, and unbelievably realistic Dutch landscapes. All of a sudden, an artist like Rembrandt could find something profound, something beautiful, not in a golden halo, but in the wrinkled face of an ordinary person, or the way light fell across a simple room. And this wasn't just an artistic shift, it was an economic one. It literally created the first modern art market, where the sacred wasn't just found in the cathedral, it was found and sold in the dignity of everyday life. And a very similar revolution happened in music. Before this, church music was pretty much just the Gregorian chant, really ethereal, no rhythm, and sung only by a trained choir of clergy. But then came the change. Composers started writing music that was meant for everyone to sing together. They even took popular folk tunes, gave them new words, added harmony, and created this powerful, communal sound that really became the foundation for a lot of modern Western music. So, how do we wrap our heads around this? Was Calvinism a friend to art or its enemy? Kuyper leaves us with this one last, really haunting image. He tells the story of an amazing Calvinist composer named Gaudemal who was murdered by religious fanatics. And then he asks this killer question, does the person who killed the nightingale have any right to complain that the forest is silent? It's a powerful challenge, to say the least. And that leaves us right here with this final question. Did Calvinism's break from that old world of art represent a kind of destruction, a silencing of beauty, or was it something else entirely? Was it a liberation that taught art a brand new song, one that could celebrate the beauty and the dignity of the entire human experience? It's a debate that really changes how we think about religion, and maybe the very purpose of art itself.